Good morning, ladies.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Hi, everybody. How are we doing today? So we're
Good.
bright and early over here on my side of the world, and it's a little cloudy. And I want to give a big shout out to all the dads. Happy Father's Day, because it's a very special day for our gentlemen in the world, dads and our hubbies and all that fun stuff. So we want to say big happy Father's Day to all of them. And today we are going to do the second part of internet safety. And we're going to, several of us are going to talk about a couple different things and just tips and things that we've kind of learned and things that we think are important to get out there, because we do believe that it's a really important subject for children and adults. And Bridgetti, I think, needs to, hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
I think Bridgetti is going to read something, and then I want to share a story about a friend of mine recently that just happened to her with her child on the internet. So it's kind of a big deal. But Bridgetti, do you want to read your
I'd
statement?
like to.
Yeah.
I'd like to, but I was just wondering if we could just first say where we're all from, so viewers know where we're broadcasting from.
Yes. Okay. So I'm Mary Elizabeth Jackson, and I'm in the USA.
Donna Marie, and I'm from the UK, England.
And I'm Bridgetti Limbanda, and I'm from Cape Town in South Africa.
Yay.
So, as Mary said, we're talking about internet safety today, and I have actually written down a few things that I want to share, and I'm going to read what I wrote down, simply because I believe that every word needs to be heard, and I really don't want to miss out on anything, because internet safety is such an important topic for each one of us. So these are my thoughts and views on internet safety and why it's such an important topic. Online safety is not just the business of banks, because they are the custodians of our finances, or so we think. Online safety is not just the business of big corporates or Fortune 500 companies, because we believe that they are the custodians of our economy. Online safety is not just the business of cybersecurity companies, because we believe it's their job to keep us safe. Online safety is not just the job of governments, because we believe it's their duty to take care of us as citizens. Online safety is not just the job of our teachers, because we believe it's their job to teach our children how to keep safe. Online safety is not just the job of universities, because we believe it's their job to teach the next generation of our workforce. Online safety is everyone's business, mine and yours, because online bullying, shaming, human trafficking, safety, and privacy is everyone's business. You know, one of the reasons I feel so passionate about it is I learned something the other day that was quite disturbing. I believe that people who are about to embark on marriage are now writing this into their prenups, because shaming has become such a big deal. You know, has society sunk to such a low level that we now have to legislate this kind of thing, how we behave as adults? It's shameful.
Okay. So you're saying that people are what are they putting in their prenups?
They're putting a shaming clause and online social media conduct into their prenups to protect them, because apparently there's been quite a rise in online shaming as a cause for divorce.
Oh, okay.
And that's alarming, you know, but just also the fact that we're having to legislate general conduct between spouses is a scary point that we've arrived at.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, you have to be really careful what you say, like if somebody's in a legal battle or they're in deposition for something, whether it's due process or it's something, whatever it is legally, you have to be really careful, because the lawyers can get on and they'll grab anything you write, anything you say. And it can be the difference between winning a case and not. And you may have lots of evidence, and you have just ruined it for yourself. So that's a very important thing for people to remember as well, you know? So,
Right, absolutely.
yeah. So is it okay? I want to share a story just really quick, and then I want to go, and then we can go to Donna Marie. Is that good? It's
Sure.
just, it's a friend of mine. I've reconnected with a friend of mine from high school, and she kind of caught me up in her life. Her son has just been through a horrendous bullying situation with a girl who was not his girlfriend. This girl actually, and I saw a story like this on the news the other night. So I texted her and asked her, was this the same story? But so this girl, she played on her boyfriend's suicidal thoughts and talked him into actually killing himself. And so this has gone to prosecution federally. But my friend's son, this girl, she did this to her boyfriend. And then she turned around and used the internet. She used social media to bully my girlfriend's son to the point that, I mean, he's very messed up now. And it wasn't directly at him. She went to all his friends, and then she would come back and say all these things that his friends had said. And she played on all these insecurities he had. And it was so bad that, I mean, they're in court now over this whole situation. But I can't imagine this girl got her boyfriend to commit suicide. I mean, I don't think there are even words for something like that. So, I mean, this stuff it is not a joke. We know stuff like this goes on with our kids. It's not a joke. But to know somebody that it's happening to is really very stressful. Hi, Emily. Good morning.
Good morning.
And where's Emily? Where are you from?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Because we were kind of telling everybody where we're from. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was a little bit late today. Sorry about that. And so then I jumped in and started hearing about Virgetti saying how they wrote these vows into wedding clauses now. And now this story, this is craziness.
Yeah, it's really sad. It's really sad. So, you know, I think Donna Marie, do you have some things you want to talk about with internet safety?
Yeah. So you were just talking then about somebody getting someone else to feel like they needed to commit suicide because of online things that are happening.
Yes.
We've had 2 suicides in the past 1.5 years with young girls from high school in our area from the same school, which doesn't sound too good. We were already working on, my friends got a campaign, it's called Adrian Derbyshire. It's the Adrian Derbyshire campaign. It's all online. He put that online because his daughter was the one who committed suicide. I don't even like using that word, to be honest. It sounds awful, but she took her own life due to all sorts of bullying online. And the thing is, parents and teachers, nobody seems to take responsibility for. Oh, we've got somebody joining us, have we? Oh, I thought that was an intro. Did you hear the intro?
Emily, did you just turn your computer on?
Oh, my husband did. Sorry, live TV.
Oh, well,
Okay.
happy Father's Day. Let's say Happy Father's Day.
Oh, is that this week?
It's today.
I even asked my husband. I was like, because I was, we were at the lake, and I'm a Snapchat person, and so I'm looking at the filters, and it's like Father's Day, Fathers, and I'm like, is Father's Day today? And he's like, oh, I think it's next week.
Every day is Father's Day for you.
That's right. He can have 2 Father's Days. Happy flipping Father Days. Right.
365 days a week.
So we're talking about this campaign, girls, for Adrian Derbyshire. He lost his daughter last year or so, a bit more than a year ago. And this was all sort of online, the internet, Facebook in the messages, because they have groups, don't they, that they form.
Yeah.
And I think once one of the peer group has a narc about you, the others seem to follow, and then it can just escalate. And the thing is, we don't know what our teenagers are watching and listening and reading when they're upstairs in the bedroom.
Right.
And it's hard to keep a track on. I just think communication is the key. Always watch out for the moods that our teenagers may be in. We can't always put the moods down to, oh, well, they're at that stage in life, they're a teenager.
Right. There are too many influences right now that affect them, because they can go upstairs totally normal and they get on and they live stream. That's another thing that I just think is not so great for our kids, is the whole live streaming thing. I don't agree with it, because I mean, my daughter walked in on one with some kids were talking about her, and that's kind of devastating,
So I'm wondering, are you guys like fully aware of everything that goes on and how kids hang out and what platforms they hang out in and that kind of stuff? Because I'm wondering how many parents really know this stuff.
Well, I mean, some of these things come new on Instagram and Snapchat and stuff, and the adults are seeing it, but it doesn't mean they know their child has an account. And these things come, I mean, we know how fast technology changes and how people are coming up with things so fast. So it is not easy. I don't think it's easy for adults to take, to know everything, unless they've got a kid who's talking to them, like, oh, hey mom, look at this new thing, and otherwise I think, I was talking about this the other day. In our time in history, we are up against more, I think, unless we were raising kids and the dinosaurs are roaming around, right? Then, you know what I mean? Because the dinosaurs now are social media, and it's really great, and it's great for adults and stuff. Like, I don't let my kids have a Facebook page. I'm like, that's for grown-ups. That's for business. You don't need a Facebook page.
How old are your kids?
Almost 17 and 13 and 4.
So none of them have Facebook?
Oh, absolutely not. They don't need a Facebook. So Instagram is the communication with most of the kids.
So they have Instagram?
Instagram.
All of them?
No, just one. That's it. The oldest.
So Mary, would you feel better in, the 17-year-old having an account, but showing her all the safety uses and how to use it and who to bring in and what to post, what not to post, rather than, I'm just thinking over here in the UK, I don't think parents would get away with not giving the kids a Facebook account, because what would happen is they'd go off and make their own account anyway under a different name, and that's what that's what a lot of these kids were doing with the ones that they were bullying. They were making multiple accounts, and
they do that.
Even the one, even the one that took her own life, it was found that she had another account because she was so upset with being bullied on her own account. She made up a name and had tried to make friends with that account. So all I'm saying is that if we deny our children to sort of keep up with the pace of being on social media, a lot of them are going to go quietly. And that's what we don't want. We don't want them to go on the side and be secretive. And because kids of 10 are making their own email accounts these days.
Right. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, the majority of all of her friends, they all communicate through Instagram. So that's kind of like okay for here, you know what I mean? But I know what you're saying. And the sad thing is, we don't think about this as parents, but okay, and we forget this. Our children emulate everything they see us do. So we have to be very careful. It is not a society anymore where we can say, don't do as I do as I say, and just shut up kind of thing. Our society is not that way anymore. They see us on the phone, blah, 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 computer, everything, and they think that's what they're supposed to do. So we're partly responsible for what's happening in our society, because if we're not setting boundaries for ourselves, how do we expect our kids to have any boundaries? If we're not talking about this with our kids, I mean, okay, so we're in the process of teaching the driving and everything. And I'm like, no food while you're driving, no texting, no one, not on the phone, but so you have all those rules. And then my daughter says to me, but Mom, you make it look so easy. And I'm like, I never even thought about that before. Okay. So I have to follow all the rules I want her to follow. You know what I mean? For being safe, and we're not going to do this and just try to get away with it. We have to go by the rules. Kids are yes and no, black and white. It's either this or that. And you've got to define those things with children. And if we as parents are being really good about the examples we're setting and the things that we're teaching, and we're talking. I know, Donna Marie, you're big about talking to the kids, about talking to the teenagers, making sure they're talking to us, we are partly responsible for what's happening in our country and our world right now with these kids. So, it starts, I think, at home, and kids, of course, obviously want to be sneaky. It's like that thrill, as they're walking through their teenage years, they're walking and challenging their dark side. And so it's like, what can I get away with? And there's sort of like that adrenaline thrill rush there. Instead of climbing a mountain, let's try to see what we can get away with. So,
you see, a lot of the kids, that's the way they communicate, through social media. It's a completely different setup than it was for us. We'd have a full-on conversation. Their conversations are very small and impact, and they seem to know what each other are talking about. If you read the thread of one of my daughter's communications, it seems to be short, snap things, and they all know what each other means. So what I'm trying to say is, if you've not got those accounts and you can't keep up with your friends at school, you're going to lose out. And I think I just feel that it's best to have them, show them how to use the accounts.
Sure.
Yeah, show them all the safety, because otherwise, we might be able to put safety on our own devices at home, but those kids go to school and 300, 400 other kids have got phones. And phones these days are the internet. They're the forums, they're the platforms, everything. So even if you think you're not keeping them safe, you're keeping them safe at home, they go out into the world, and the friends have all got the same things that they can look at. In other words, if you have a film that you want to ban, they're going to find it somewhere else. They're going to see it. There's multiple opportunities every day to see that at school, on the internet, on people's phones. So I'd much rather just educate them and let them know how to use the social media. I'd even make it fun. And, I ask them, instead of telling them things, I do tell them, but in a roundabout way. I ask them, and I cause like a fun conversation about it, and I'll say, what's that Snapchat? Can you show me how to use it?
Sure.
Just by asking that question, A, I know if they've got an account. B, I know how they're using it because they're showing me how to use it. Then 3, I'll say, how do I make my account safe? What do you suggest? If I ask and mirror the questions to them, they give me the answers that I actually wanted to tell them. So we've got a Snapchat, we've got Instagrams, we've got Pinterest. Well, that's not. I don't know if that one's a chatty one at the moment, is it? But the Instagrams and everything else, you can send messages back and forth. So we really need to be looking at all of those across the line, and even make an account. Just make an account for yourselves as parents. And there are ways and means of just keeping a check on what the kids are posting and who they're friending and things like that, and just massive conversations.
Absolutely.
And again, I ask them the things that I want to tell them. I switch it round and I ask them. So I'll say to them, how do you choose someone that you're going to friend on Facebook? Because I think at the moment there's 53 people waiting on my Facebook, and we'll go through together how we choose and make it fun. I'll say, well, look at this person here. What do you think? Do you think I should friend this person? And it's a way of me gauging to see how safe they're going to make their choices on their Facebook. So we'll go through And they'll say, no, Mum, come on now, that looks a bit strange, that person, come on. Well, why is that? Well, they've only got 2 photos on the Facebook account, and it's one's of a bird and the other one's of a jammy dodger, you know. So, so we're kind of talking about how they would choose to bring people in. And the same thing goes for private messages. When they're getting private messages, again, switch it back to yourself as a parent and say to them, what would you do if you got this message? How would you deal with it? Do you understand where I'm coming from? So I'll say, yeah.
I totally agree with everything that you're saying. And for me, the big thing, you know, I've watched too many periscopes, for example, where I've seen some very, very scary stuff. Because, you know, unfortunately, the truth about the matter is that children can have these accounts without their parents' knowledge. You know, if your child doesn't even have to have their own phone to do this. This is the scary part. Yeah, you know, you can take your child's phone away from them. It does not mean, it's not an indicator that they don't have a social media account. Because remember, they get access to the internet at internet cafes. They get access to the internet at school.
Right.
You know, they can use a friend's phone. So the very fact that you saying to them, I don't permit you to have an internet account. I don't permit you to have a Facebook account. To kids, that's like, I dare you to have one.
It is. I mean, it is. And it's, I mean, I have Facebook. I mean, I use it. It's I think for adults, it's one of our primary things it's been for a long time. It's been a great way to reconnect and do business and everything else. And I love Facebook. I'm just trying to, this is just in my house. I'm not talking about other people. You know what I mean? This is just kind of a choice we made together. And then they have to have an email to do it. She does not have an email. I know kids can go get it. We have to be very vigilant as parents, and we have to educate our children, and we have to hope that we've put some and instill common sense in them enough they can make the right decisions. Because I do know that, you know, people come in and they want to friend you, and they may say all these nice things about you. And as kids are always warming up and open to a nice compliment from somebody. So that's, you know, that's one where I think sometimes people come, you know, kids end up allowing people to come in that they don't know, but this person has come in very nice and they think they're safe and okay. And we might, as adults, we hope we have more of a radar going, you know, where our children don't have that radar, but it's our job to teach them how to have that good radar, no matter what platform they're on. You know, I mean, there are kids who are selling things and they've already got little businesses going. So Pinterest would be great for that. You know, there are other platforms that would be great. We just have to teach them. It's our, you know, that's our job, right? And it's our job. We're up against a lot as parents. We really are in this day and time. So it's our job to check up on them. And like Donna Marie said, you know, get a different account and go check up and see what the kids are doing and what your child's doing, you know? So, I mean, no one said it was easy, right?
Yeah, I just like to, I would kind of rather know, like, I'd like to know everything that they're up to. And if I can make that into an interest, as in, let's have fun about what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'd rather know even all the problems. I'm one of those people that, you know, what's all the problems? Let's go and sort them. Because there are going to be problems within social media at one point. So I'm just all about knowing how to solve them, even before they happen. Solve a problem before it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, I got so much to say.
Okay,
These kids are so savvy. These kids are too savvy, honestly.
They are too savvy.
So it's me like sitting there typing all these questions and stuff, and I'm listening to you guys, and I see like these two different ways of parenting. And I'm kind of in the middle. I thought I was the strictest mom in the world until Mary just said that.
The other thing is she doesn't, but she's not interested. I mean, she just, the main thing they use here is right now. Okay, it's Snapchat
Yeah.
and the Instagram, and they're fine with that. So if this is just, we do a lot of talking, we do a lot of conversing, and I know there's a lot of kids out there. I mean, she comes and shows me a lot of stuff that her friends are doing. You know what I mean? I try to keep that conversation going.
Yeah, and I wouldn't think that Facebook would really be a platform that she necessarily would want to be on. My daughter checks her Facebook like maybe once every 2 weeks or something like that. And I think it's more just to be connected to the family, because my mom lives in Nevada and I live in Georgia. And, just people all over the world, because we don't just live in one place anymore. And that's kind of like been where, I mean, it is for business and it is for older people, but it's also where families connect. And so I have a son who's 19 and he has a Facebook account, but he only uses it to talk to people about work, and he doesn't like social media. He doesn't have a Snapchat account. He doesn't have an Instagram account. He hasn't wanted those things. But my daughter, and here's a question for you guys. She is on Snapchat and she's on Instagram and she's on Tumblr. Do they have any Tumblr accounts? Because have you seen the crazy stuff that goes down there?
Mm-mm. No, I have not. We haven't done that yet. And you know what? I think Facebook will be, when she wants to do it, it's fine. I've used it mostly for family and business. That's just kind of, in that connection.
No, and I'm not judging you or anything like that. I'm just wondering, I don't really think Facebook is an issue, because it's not something an issue where kids, really want to hang out or anything like that. But how do you deal with, so my kids, they did not get a phone until this last year, and they're 17 and 19. And I'm just like, what's the point? It's going to take you away from the family. I've never let TVs in rooms, because, you need to be out here if you're going to be watching TV. And now that they have phones, they're in their rooms. I'm like, that's the same thing as TV. And so where do you really draw that line? Because I see a lot of kids are not allowed to go outside now. They're not allowed to walk to their friends. My daughter has a 17-year-old girlfriend who lives less than a mile, and she's not allowed to walk to our house. She's not allowed. We tried to plan a 6-month trip. In 6 months, we want to take her to Dallas. And her mom flipped because it's way too soon. And how dare she throw this on her? So even with real life, getting out in the world, and social media, because social media is becoming real life, how do you decide how to get your kids ready and capable instead of just, you can't do this? And when you become an adult, then they're just going to jump into the deep end and try to figure it out all on their own. How do you decide what's appropriate to teach them and when?
That's hard, Emily, because some people give their kids phones at 10, because all the other kids have it. And you know how the children are. I mean, nagging, why can't I have a phone? All my friends have a phone. And then they kind of wear down the parent. And I'm not judging anybody here, because I see these things happen. It's just being aware of them. We decided not to give a cell phone until 13, I think it was, but she was having practices and we were not there, and it was for safety reasons. You're going to be at the ball field. If you're there by yourself, you need to call, or if you have an emergency, you need to call. Yeah, I don't know. He's in bed. Go find him. Sorry, my little guy's up. So,
Mama, come on, see Daddy.
Okay, I will in just a minute. Sorry, everybody.
I feel a song coming on from Carson. He always sings to us.
So I think, my point is, we have to, I guess, as a generation, for parents, we got to figure out, like Emily, what you're saying, and Donna Marie, what is right? What isn't right? I mean, we don't have enough education out there. We are up against a whole lot as parents. So, what's right for me in my house may not be right for you in your house. I mean, my daughter had a friend at elementary school. Her dad is on the road. He drives a tour bus for, a music group. And so when she was, 8, 9, and 10, she had a phone so her dad could get a hold of her, and they could talk while he was on the road. So that was appropriate for her. For mine, I was like, listen, go to the office and call me. That's what I did. You don't need a phone at 10, but some people do need that. And so I think I have friends whose kids are in high school and don't have phones. I have friends whose kids, like I just said, had them in elementary school, middle, and high school. And I just think, everyone's going to be different in their opinions, and we all have to decide what's right for us and our children. We are all about talking about safety here, and that's very important to each one of us. And education and communication are two of the biggest things. I think that's our two saving graces right there is education and
communication.
communication.
I think as well, even with each account and the phone itself, you can ring up the line provider and get them to put safety measures on the phone so that it's set up so that things that are maybe for over 18s or whatever can't be shown on the phone. And you can get your internet set up as well. Sorry, I'm so hot. I'm not used to the weather. It's England. It's supposed to be cold and rain.
I'm watching her and I'm thinking, what is happening with her?
She's sitting here. She's like, I'm like a fat man in a cake shop.
I'm used to blizzards and rain.
Call him. Say, Daddy, where are you? Go.
It's beautiful here, but it's so hot.
Yeah, go
So,
call him.
yeah, I just thought that with each account, we can actually get each one set up so it's
Well, and there's
safe
also
for our kids.
software that you can install so that you can, okay, here's a question for you. You can have it installed so that you can read everything on your kids' phone. Would you guys ever go that far?
Absolutely, if I needed to. Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you,
it's all right. It's all right to do that, but I think it depends on the child and the situation you're dealing with. If you're trying to save your kid, you know what I mean, from going down. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, I've had a friend who they took the door off the wall. They let the child sleep on the floor with, a sheet. They had to ask for their clothes.
I've done all that.
I know you've talked about that, and it took them about 3 or 4 weeks, and finally they got their kid to come back. You know what I mean? Because they had been sucked into the deep dark hole of the world.
Girls, the people that don't understand what that part of the conversation was, because it sounds a bit, what? You did what? So what was the journey up to why you had to take a door off one of the bedrooms, or what was the?
Oh, the child was just so out of control because Emily's asking, would I go as far as to be able to? And I have a friend who works in Homeland Security. He can set all this up for us, Okay. Hey, listen, will you bring Brigetti on for just a minute? I'm going to take it.
She's lovely. Wonderful.
Oh, goodness.
Hey guys, I'm listening to you and all this internet safety stuff is scary, I heard of something that really blew my mind. There was this 12-year-old girl who the parents thought was being studious. She was studying all the time. And what she was doing behind the closed doors was she was not only streaming pornography like in herself, but she actually was making money. And the way the parents found out about this situation is that the bank contacted them and they said, look, there's this huge amounts of money going into your child's account. Are you aware of this? And only when the parents started investigating, where this money is coming from, did they uncover that what their child was doing behind closed doors was not studying like they believed, but she was making making money online with her body. A 12-year-old. I mean, you cannot even I couldn't wrap my head around this. 12 years old, and she was making money with her body.
I can understand 12 years old. I mean, kids get sexually active really early on, and they have been for a while. It's just more abundant now. So I can understand her doing this. What I can't understand is why in the world do you not periodically check on your child behind closed doors?
Right, okay,
Why?
I have something to say. So automatically, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So automatically, when I heard that story Bridgetti's just told us, I instantly thought about the fact that has been most probably, where the child has gotten into a friendship, maybe online, Facebook or somewhere, and this person has posed to be a child when in fact they're an adult, told her how cute she is, all of this, made it seem like he's the same age as a boy, is probably an adult. This will be an adult that sort of lured her into those actions, and it will be starting sort of slowly into, I like your neckline, can I see your neck, blah, blah, whatever. And she'll think she's talking to a child. It will escalate, and one of the days he'll ask her to do something, and she'll do it, and it will go further because then they get bullied and told that they will show what she's done online if she doesn't do it again. So then she's caught in a situation where she's now having to do it. So I think it's not the choice. It's not the choice that the child's just gone straight away to do that. That's luring from adults, especially when you're talking about bank accounts and things like that. This is what we're talking about with internet safety. We've got to look after our kids with these adults that come online pretending to be kids. And then the shame will come in, so that's why she'll be secretive. She won't want her parents to know, she won't want anyone else to know. Then she's stuck in this progressive thing that she's got to do so that this person won't tell.
Well, okay. I can see how that could happen, but why would she be making money if that happened? So I think that there's a number of things that happen. And I'm going to say this, I don't know if my mom's watching or not because she doesn't know this yet, but I lost my virginity at 13 years old. Okay. And that wasn't because there was some guy online, pretending to be a child or anything like that. It was because I would go to school and all of my peers were already having sex and my cousins were all having sex. And I was like the little girl who wasn't, who was falling behind basically, and I needed to go ahead and catch up to everybody. So I think peers have a lot to do with that. And if somebody's going to be selling their body online at 12 years old, chances are that they've been molested in their past and that they're using their body as a way to gain acceptance. And if you have, kids are not dumb. They don't have to be manipulated. Like somebody says 12 and that's like a young age. But in the real world, when you're dealing with sex and you're dealing with drugs and you're a latchkey kid was what we used to call them and all this other stuff, they become really mature adults really, really fast. And why did she have a bank account? The parents had to be there to set up the bank account. So the parents knew that she had it. So she was being taught how to take care of money, which is a good thing. But to say that, the chances are that there was a pedophile online that just coerced her into doing this, I think is probably less of the case. Okay. All right, Claus, go.
Okay. Right. So I don't agree with that. I think that any child is a child. It doesn't matter whether they're sexually active or whatever. I don't care. Those are children and they have been abused. So whatever way you look at it, if they've ended up taking clothes off or doing sex or whatever online, those kids have been abused and we need to help them. It's not about kind of, well, everyone's having sex so they know what they're doing, but somebody has manipulated them online.
Well, hopefully I didn't
make that decision.
Hopefully I didn't bring across that I thought it was her fault or anything. I said that, usually when people are like that, it's because they've been abused. But I think that she had a lot more to do with it than just, look at poor little innocent me following this person who I think is a child online. I think, obviously, when I first heard this story, I was pissed off at the parents, not the child, because the child needs to be protected. Where are the parents? Why are they not opening the door periodically to find out how her studying is going? And that's really where I think the responsibility lies, not on the child. Because children, and that's what I was saying, children are going to get into these situations, especially when they are around their peers, if they're sexually abused, if they have freedoms, if they have access to the internet, they are bound to get into these situations. My point is, where are the freaking parents and why are they so surprised? And I just have to give kudos to the bank for stepping up and saying, this is our responsibility as well. That's definitely a community that raises children, because there's lots of banks that would be like, whatever, it's not my responsibility.
Yeah, this is okay. I didn't hear the whole conversation because I was taking care of Sweet Pea, but you're right. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. Where are the parents? We have to be on it like white on rice. You know what I mean? So my kids do their homework out here. They do it. They don't go into their rooms and do their homework. They do it out here.
Mary's a tough mama.
Your kids do homework? I can't get my kids to do homework.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, they have to. The school they're in does lots of homework, yes. So I guess because I had so much freedom and I was a latchkey kid, like that word you used, and I was responsible very early on, but there's a lot of situations that it could have ended up really bad. So because of the things that I've seen in my life, that's why I parent the way I do, because I know what's out there. But what I'm saying, even with all that knowledge, look at all the crap that's happening. Look at all the things that's happening to our kids. And like, I'll see my child as like one personality, and then they go upstairs and they get on and they watch something come downstairs. And they're like a totally different person with all this. And it's not just typical hormones and teenager. It's more than that. It's like they've seen something that's upset them. They don't want to talk about it. I mean, we have dealt twice in the last year and a half, 2 years with knowing a child who didn't want to live. Okay. And the second time, she didn't want to talk to me about it because it upset her so bad because of the first time. So I watched her come home and then say that she wanted to go ride her bicycle. It's a way of decompressing. And I know this about, I know that this is a tool for decompressing. There's different tools for decompressing. Donna, you're making me hot, girl. I feel like I need to put my hair up and take away. Bless her heart. Somebody send her an ice cube.
Can you close the curtain or something?
No, it's the roof.
Your thing. Yeah, you need a, she needs iced tea. Give her an iced tea.
Man, a Southern iced tea.
Well, she's a flower.
A Long Island iced tea is what she needs.
Yeah. She's a flower over there in her sunroom.
I'll go and get a drink. I'll be back shortly.
Okay. She doesn't have to change a diaper.
She's gonna go like rub an ice cube all over.
Oh my gosh. I know we were downtown last night because there was this event going on my husband had with his where he works. And so it was outside, 95 degrees, all these restaurants set up with free food and drinks and stuff. You're dripping like a faucet. It was so freaking hot last night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then we went to listen to, my girlfriend's husband is a country music artist, and they moved here from Australia because that's what he wanted to do. So we went by to see him downtown in Nashville, and Lord have mercy. It was so hot in there, even with the fans. We're like, yeah, we can't sit here. Sorry, I love you, but we cannot do this. But no, we really had a good time. It was awesome. He's amazing. But
good. You were telling me about him.
I just think it's just scary. It's really scary.
It's really scary. And like you were saying, my daughter, I was always wondering, like, where are these hormones? And you can't take hormones into account anymore because of everything that's going on with the internet.
Well, you can't blame them. You can't.
Yeah,
blame
exactly.
them.
You can't. Yeah, you just can't say surface. Oh, this is something that they're going to go through, because maybe it's not. And so she has not had that lull that most teenagers have. And I was like, this is cool. I'm going to get through this. She doesn't want to be in her room. She likes to hang out with the family. She wants her friends to meet her mom. She was like, so if you went to the prom with me, Mom, could I go? And I was like, would you want me to go? And she's, 17 years old. She's like, yeah, at least you'll get up and dance with me. So I had like this really cool, like, this is awesome kid. And then all of a sudden she starts texting with her friend. And remember, I was telling you guys the other day, oh my gosh, this emotional low. Well, her friend is fighting anorexia. And so she dumps on my daughter all the stuff. And I'm down to 300 calories and I'm going vegan. And do I look fat to you? The girl wears a size 0. Okay. And my daughter wears a size 14. She's like, really, why are you telling me this stuff? Why are you pouring this on me? I'm like 6-foot Amazon woman. You look like a peon, but she's not telling her this. Instead, she's being the good friend and supportive. And you need to talk to your dad and let's get you into counseling. And I'm worried about you. You're not giving your body nutrition and let's work on your self-esteem. Well, her doing all this stuff is bringing her down. And now she wants to be in her room and she doesn't have anybody to pour into. And so there's usually an external factor. And so even like if it's not internet, those phones come in, it's all through texting. This isn't through any social media. And it's amazing how people can have an effect on your mood.
Oh,
And with
absolutely.
kids, they're aliens. They don't know how to deal with their feelings yet. They're trying to learn how to be adults. And the parents really need to step the freak up. Why are you having kids if you're not going to take care of this?
Oh, don't even get me started there. Okay. Don't even get me started on that subject. But you know what? Our kids are like sponges. So they soak up, and I'm sure Brigetti saw this with her guys. They soak up everything going on around them. So you have a bunch of drama going on and drama friends. I know Elizabeth comes home and she's like, oh my God. You know what I mean? It's so sad. It's really sad.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, listen, you need to go do this. Go, let's turn on Just Dance or something. Just work it out and get it off because it's weighing you down, because they want to help and they don't want to be mean, and they have a big heart, and they're not therapists yet. They're just kids trying to figure their own things out.
So now that we're towards the end, I have a question that I probably should have asked earlier, but I never thought of it. So we're sitting here slamming the parents, and we're not really slamming the parents, but there are some parents that need to be slammed. Where does the community with internet safety pop in? Like, what responsibility does the community, i.e. the bank that called up, where do they come in on this, and what responsibility do they have towards the children of the future?
I don't know. That's a good question, but why don't we pose it out there to the public and see what answers come back? And what are you doing as a parent to stay on top of and protect your child? Are there any tips you have, anything that you're using that you see is working?
And I'd really like to know how, because if you see something online, how do you deal with it if it's not in your family? If you see, like, okay, you're on Periscope, like Brigetti was saying the other day, I've seen people on Periscope go around terrorizing other people. Well, if I was, in person, I'd call 911. But how do you deal with that online? I would really love to hear some creative feedback on how to get involved in your global community when things go wrong.
Yeah, because
Go
ahead, B.
I would agree. There's too much. There's too many people who are passive about this. I would like to see people, and again, we need the buy-in of our.
There's a huge echo.
Circle of friends, in order to pull this off. This is just my opinion, but I really think we need to stop this thing about it's not my kid. Too many of us have that attitude. We turn a blind eye to stuff that we see. We turn a blind eye to the red flags because we have this mentality, oh, well, it's not my child, not my duty, not my responsibility. We need to go back to that kind of thinking where we realize it takes a village to raise a child. Mm-hmm. And we need to realize that people who come to us with stuff that they've seen about our kids, it's out of concern. It's not a matter of them sticking their nose where it doesn't belong. If you see a child in danger, you better stick your nose in there. You better do something.
I had to do that over a year ago, and it didn't turn out well because I did have to get to the parent and say, okay, so your child's telling my child through texting that they don't want to live anymore. And as a responsible adult, I have to take care of that. I have to address that because that's our responsibility as parents. I know a lot of kids throw that word around and they're all joking. I know I hate the word stalker because I've had my own experience with that and it was really not good. So when the kids are like, oh, I'm stalking you, when they're doing that on the phone, I'm like, you guys, I always stop them. I say, you know what? That's not a funny thing. Mm-hmm. Unless you've had it happen to you. I know it sounds like a funny word, but it really is not funny. Okay. It's a very serious situation. And so, we do have a responsibility. We have to be really kind of careful how we go about it. Cause like you said, parents are like, no, not my kid. And no one ever wants anyone, everyone's very defensive about that. So I've been there, done that. And it is a difficult situation. I also think that, we just, I don't know, maybe we as parents have to get online and we have to put it out there that we want to have some sort of change out there. People have created all these tools and these apps and these games and stuff. So I always joke and say all of this was created because some adults got bored and they wanted games to play with, right? And so now it's kind of trickled down to our children. And it's like, every time you do something, I mean, there's got to be some sort of responsibility that comes with this. You know, there's no booklets that come with any of this. We're all kind of out here like in the ocean, you know, swimming around.
We need to wrap up. So why don't we go ahead and like say our final thoughts? I think for me, I would think that I want everybody to get involved. And we all know those parents that say, oh, it's not my kid, blah, blah, blah. At that point, your hands are not clean. At that point, you need to find an alternative because it's the child that you're trying to help out. So I really believe whatever it takes to help that child, if that means going to the authority, if that means going to your local church that you guys are involved in and getting, you know, whoever involved, whatever that means, you need to go above and beyond so that we can start helping the children have better functions in society when they get older.
Well, and they need boundaries. They need boundaries. You know, we got to teach them that. We got to teach them self-control. The internet and the phones do not teach self-control. Now, we all use them and we need them. And, you know, I had a funny thought the other day, what it would be like. I told Emily, I texted her, I said, okay, I got to write something about, you know, you think about how people, if the internet goes down, I mean, it's like oxygen. Right? You know, you don't get on your phone for like 20 minutes. Oh my God, what happened? You know, because, you know, in our group, you can have 100 messages come through in 20 minutes and you're like, oh my God, I missed something, you know? So we've all become so addicted, and there is so many good things out there that the internet and our social media and our phones really do have a lot of positive to them. We just have to educate and communicate, and we have to protect ourselves as adults as well. Not just get your antivirus on your computer, not just get your second firewall on there.
Can we get an anti-doucher?
Yeah, let's get one of those on the, I'll see if my neighbor can come up with one. So it's just that, you know, there's a lot of positives here. We just have to, we want to take and help protect our kids as best we can, and ourselves and our friends, you know, so.
Beautiful. What's your final thought, Donna Marie?
My final thought is that we need to get savvy and know every single platform that's going out there, because there's no point in brushing things under the carpet. If our kids are in the bedrooms and we think they're just relaxing, whatever, we need to know what platforms they're on, what they're watching on the phone, and if we can have an account, make an account, learn how to use it, have fun with it. But above all, rather than try and avoid them going there, which the kids are going to do anyway, one way or another, they're going to see their friends' accounts, they're going to watch theirs and see how to make one. Just arm them with all the information now, teach them how to be secure online, give them lots of tips, ask them for tips, keep it communicative, just keep the lines open with communication.
Yeah,
definitely. Okay, guys.
And who are we, Emily? We never said who we were. The wow.
You don't know who we are? We're wow. What is it?
I know who we are. I don't think you mentioned it at the beginning.
I think you know wow is the perfect name for us, and this is why. Because each of us, it means a little bit something different. For me, it's women of wonder. What is it for you guys?
Women of wisdom and worth. I mean, all of the words are just amazing, you know? I mean, it really is. And you know what? There's so many women out there who we really want to empower women, to find women that are going to empower you and stick to those women. Okay. You have something to celebrate. They need to celebrate with you. There doesn't need to be that envy and jealousy. We're not 2 and 3 years old anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't think it has to just be women. I actually like guys lifting me up and me lifting up guys as well. But it's just the 6 of us that got together and we're all women. So that's how the name came up.
That's right. So what is Brigetti? Can she give us her last minute thoughts?
I think she needs to, I hope she didn't disappear because she's the one ending us. Otherwise, I'm just going to bounce and there's going to be this live stream of like black squares. Brigetti, come on, you gotta take us down.
Well, how about take us out? Well, that's not good either. We want some positive words here. How about let's lift us up with words of inspiration and we'll all have a great Sunday. How about that?
Yes, I think that sounds a lot better, you know. Saying take us out sounds horrible.
I know. Sounds like the morphia.
Hit the kill switch.
Okay, ladies, it was great. I think this is an important topic, and I think we need to keep the conversation about internet safety going. It's not a subject we shouldn't allow the topic to die. We must carry on with that thread. And in our everyday activity with our kids, with our neighbors, with our friends, we need to pursue this topic. Ladies, it was wonderful sharing the space with you, and have a great day further.
Bye. Happy Father's Day again.
Bye, guys.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
See you next week.
Yep. Bye.